This stunning crystal internal engraving piece was created by the Mr. Carve M7 Pro. Welcome to the future of engraving. Over the past few years, I've reviewed all kinds of laser engravers, mostly dyed, fiber, or hybrids or both. But none of them compared to this UV 355nm laser engraver. What makes it stand out is its ability to handle almost any material, whether it's the usual wood or metal, or even silicon, which is notoriously difficult for dyed or fiber lasers to work with. But the real showstopper is the internal crystal engraving I showed at the beginning. Whether it's 2D flat surface engraving or 3D relief engraving, the results are truly eye-catching. Every detail is razor sharp and the depth is beautifully layered. This feels like engraving on a whole new level. But is this machine really that good? Is it easy to use? How well does everything work? In this video, I'll walk you through it all. Stay tuned for my final verdict. Here is how it looks. The machine measures about 272 by 533 by 539mm and weighs around 22 kilograms. Definitely not light, but luckily it has a compact design, so I can easily place it on a desk for work. The M7 Pro uses a protective enclosure that brings the system to Class 1 safety standards. Open the shield and you'll see the motorized lift platform. You can either press the up or down keys to control it, press once to move slightly, or press and hold for continuous movement. Speaking of focusing, you can also control this through the app. Let's talk more about that. Since 355nm UV lasers are still pretty new on the market, Librem hasn't added support yet, and honestly, I'm not sure if they ever will. Anyway, it uses its own app. Here's what the interface looks like. I know it looks pretty overwhelming at first glance, but the good news is you don't need to understand every single option to make it work. Just a few key settings matter. This isn't a tutorial, so I won't walk you through every detail. That would be crazy. I'm just going to focus on three major parts: how to focus, 2D internal engraving, and especially 3D engraving. Mr. Carve told me the final software might become more user-friendly later on, but for now, I just show you how it works. To focus in the app, note that the platform's movement is opposite to the arrow indicators. That's because internal crystal engraving goes from bottom to top, unlike regular surface engraving. You'll know it's focused when you hear a sharp buzzing sound and see a bright white light. For example, if you use a coated aluminum plate, you'll see the paint layer get stripped off. That's the perfect focus point. Then you can preview the mark. Here's how it looks on the aluminum card. Pretty awesome, right? Now let's move to 2D internal engraving. For the engraving size, keep it under 50mm by 50mm. That's the maximum this machine supports. The XYZ size refers to the crystal's actual length, width, and height, based on what you measured. Set the access distance to half of the crystal's height. This singles the engraving inside the block. Make sure to tick revert and generate a preview. If you zoom in, you can even see the laser dot density across different areas. Then place the crystal onto the plate and just focus using the method I just showed you. Easy peasy. After that, set the engraving parameters. Power usually goes to 80%. Marking speed at 4000mm per second, leave the rest as is. Hit apply and preview. Because the crystal is transparent, the regular preview can pass through, which makes it hard to see if the image is aligned correctly. So I recommend covering the crystal with a white or black cloth before aligning. Now you can finally click marking and let it go. In the settings, I select count 4. That's how many passes it makes. 4 usually gives a nice depth and clarity. Here's the final result. It looks awesome, right? Super fine detail, with depth, very clean. If you want to go one step further, try 3D engraving. It makes the image come alive in a whole new way. To do that, you need to generate a proper 3D stereoscopic image. I use a 3D scanner, but you can also use some AI tools like ChatGPT or Travel 3D to create one. Once you've got the file and import it into the software, the first step is to add texture. This gives your engraving surface detail and realism, making it more vivid and lifelike. Adjust the power to 80% and set the marking speed to 3000 mm per second. Then let it go. From a 3D picture, the whole process took about 26 minutes, which is pretty reasonable. The final result has clearly defined layers, amazing detail, and really high precision. 2D and 3D internal engraving like this is something I've never seen on a die or fiber laser. It truly stands out. If you give someone a gift like this, then people know no way. Another thing worth mentioning, this UV laser engraver works surprisingly well on silicon. Again, something die and fiber machines you will struggle with. Just look at how good it came out on this transparent phone case. Because UV light is strongly absorbed by most plastics, coated materials, and glass. It can leave super sharp and damage-free marks with almost no heat. As for normal materials, I didn't even bother to test feather, it just works. But I do want to highlight 3D embossing engraving on wood. Unlike dye lasers that tend to burn the surface, this one stays super clean. The result looks like it's being carved with a precision knife, no burn marks at all. That's because UV lasers are considered cold processing. They don't melt material with heat, but break molecular bonds directly. To my surprise, the M7 Pro also supports a rotary extension, so engraving on cylindrical objects like rings and mugs isn't a problem. It even supports a sliding extension for objects up to 300 mm by 50 mm. And that's pretty much everything this machine can do. Here's my final tech. The Mr. Carve M7 Pro starts at $3,780 on crowdfunding. Not cheap by any means, especially compared to some dual dye or fiber lasers out there. But when it comes to UV lasers, this price is actually pretty reasonable. What truly sets the machine apart is the stunning precision it delivers, especially in internal crystal engraving. The level of detail is insane, ultra fine, crisp, and layered with depth that gives the entire image a floating, lifelike presence. It's not just clear, it's clean, consistent, and beautifully dimensional. Every line and contour looks like it's being sculpted in light, suspended inside glass. Honestly, I've never seen this kind of internal 3D clarity from any desktop machine before. It's almost unreal. No, this machine isn't for everyone. If you're just looking for a budget engraver to mess around with wood or leather, there are plenty of other options. Check out some of my previous videos. Plus, the software has a learning curve. You'll need to spend time getting used to the interface and maybe even explore 3D modeling or scanning if you want to get the most out of it. But if you're aiming to create something that genuinely impresses, especially those jaw-dropping, laser-sharp 3D crystal pieces, this machine absolutely delivers. It's not just engraving, it's all trapped in crystal. And if you are interested in this product, please check the link in the description and buy it now. Thanks for watching, and Sammy will see you in the next one.
Oh!
Bye bye!